Guys, it's Squdge here. Welcome back to another Squdge craft video. So I'm going to be trying something a little bit different today. So as some of you may know, I stream on Twitch. Here is my thing. The link will be in the description. And I do my albums over there and I do it live. However, I also do smaller projects over there because I've built such a really lovely crafty community. So we do some smaller projects. And so I made this tray for my ink smooshing on Twitch. And what I thought I would do is, just as a bit of a test, is just upload the full stream. So you will see me interacting with people, how I talk to people in the chat, the different ideas that people have, the process that we go through over the night of the stream. I'm going to edit out some bits because some bits are just not necessary. So there will be some jumps in it because I stream for 4 hours. I'm not going to upload a 4-hour video. But yeah, I'm going to basically upload the snippets that make up this project and see how it is taken. So when I go back to work in a couple of weeks after the summer holidays, I'm not going to be able to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Just time-wise, I'm not going to be able to. I know that it's going to hit me like a brick wall with the loopers and everything else. So I'm trying to edit the way I do things and think of different ways to do things. So that's the plan. So I'm going to see how this one goes. I'm going to upload it almost complete. So I'm going to show wherever I'm working on the project. So the conversations may be a little skippy here and there, but I'm hoping generally it makes sense. And then I'll get feedback and see how it goes. Now some projects I'll be able to edit really quickly into a short video that I can do a voiceover, and that'll be fine. Other projects, it might be a bit more meandery, like this one was, where we changed ideas and we talked about things and we tried different things. So by doing that, it will be a longer process video. And I'm just going to see how well these perform. You guys might love the longer videos, you guys might hate the longer videos. I'm just going to have a go and see how it is. So that's the plan. This was made over on Twitch, and I hope you enjoy. So, what I thought we would do is have a go at making this a bit better. And I'm going to make it a touch longer so that I can fit a finger dauber in here as well. And not lose it. I have done a lot of research. And the best way to do this is to use some medium weight chipboard, because this is heavyweight and it just doesn't, where you fit it together you get weird gaps that are hard to cover with the way that I'm going to build it. And the way that I'm going to build it is going to be the easiest way to build it, because it you're right there, kitten, because it's so small. So I'm not going to go lightweight, but I am going to go medium weight. Okay, so what I did was I figured out that the box I made as a template was pretty much the right size. What you want to do is you want to measure your pieces that you want to store. So whether you want to do an mini ink cube like I did, or a regular sized ink pad, whether you want the finger daubers or the actual ink blending tool, or even a blending brush. When you've figured that out, you can draw your base size. I'm not going to give you measurements because it depends what ink and things you are using. Then I decided that for my height, I wanted about 3/4 of an inch. So what I've done is I've drawn on my chipboard the lines for my base. So yours will be whatever size you choose, depending on the size of ink cube and other pieces that you are using. Once you've got that size, then you can easily draw your 2 long sides and your 2 short sides. So I decided to do 3/4 of an inch, as I said. So where I've got that short edge drawn, I'm going to measure up and pencil mark it at 3/4 of an inch, and then another 3/4 of an inch, which would be 1.5. And then I'm going to draw a line to join those up, and that will give me my 2 smaller sections, which are the same width as my base. And I know they're going to be the same width because I'm cutting them from the same piece where I've drawn that line. Then I'm going to do exactly the same for my long sides. So I've got the long side of my base. I'm then going to measure from there 3/4 of an inch, and then another 3 another 3/4 of an inch, which is 1.5. When I've got those pencil marks, I'm going to join them up, and then I know my long sides are exactly the same size as my short sides. Now ordinarily when I would do something like this, I would make one of those slightly longer, but because this box is actually quite small, there is trickiness when you're doing that, so I'm making them all exactly the same length. So as you'll see in a second when I lift it up, my long sides are the same as the long side of my base, and the short sides are the same as the short side of my base. You can see here the 5 pieces that we are then going to cut out. Not that end piece, I drew my line too long, but you can see the 5 pieces we're going to need, and once you've figured out the size of your base, that's all you need to do. Then cut them out and we'll be ready to assemble everything. Just because I have some. And we're going to... Yeah, so I've got the base. Just going to do a quick check because I know it should all fit, but yeah, so that will all now nicely fit next to each other with a little bit of space either end. Okay, let me put those in there. So, gonna do the same thing as I did yesterday. So I'm gonna put these together. Hello, kitten. Hello, kitten. Hi. Hello, baby. 4 visits. 4 visits. Can I carry on? I tell you what, if I move this, actually, you've got all this space over here to be. That's it. You go and attack your treats. Cool. Just got a tail in my face, but it's fine. So, same as last night, I'm going to position them next to the base and tape them together. So that's the shape, and then same as yesterday, it's going to fold up like so to make our box. And this is where I'm going to stray slightly from yesterday's design. So yeah, this is just a full page of sticky basically. It's great for if you want to do something that's like a really intricate die cut and you don't want to put glue on it. It works for that. So yeah, so I'm going to put this down on it and I'm going to take off, I'm going to burnish them on first. Okay, I'm going to take off this tape backing just because I don't want lumps. Do not do that. I don't want it to be lumpy. So I'm just going to stop and take the tape backing off. And then I'm going to put this side, the side with the sticky tape, face down in the sticky. I know, it desperately wants to stick to itself. This is why I didn't want the cat around as well while I was doing this, because I knew there was going to be enough problems. Okay, right, just stay open for me. Right, so the sticky piece is face down. I'm just going to line this up as nearly as I can to the edge, like so. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess. I'll have to do it this way around so I can hold it. No, not on the chipboard, thank you. Did that not cut through? Oh my gosh. There we go. Wow. There we go. Oh, blimey, that was hard work. Hey, Rita, how are you doing? I hope you are well. Okay, so did that lift it off? Good. Perfect. And I'm just going to cut off the piece that I don't need. Because I'm going to need pieces to stick down to as well. I'm good, my dear. I'm glad to hear you are too. That is good. How far did this cut there? There we go. So, because this is still useful sticky, I'm just going to stick it to this so that I can peel it back off when I need it. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is cut these four corners are sticky. I'm going to cut them off and put them on here because we're going to keep them. Things up. Good in your life. Okay. And I need to just neaten this edge because I didn't stick it down quite perfectly, but I also didn't cut this chipboard quite perfectly, so that's fine. Let me fix the chipboard first. Right, I'm going to keep those bits there because I need them. Okay. I'm then going to get some white cord. And I'm now going to stick it to some paper. So I'm just going to peel off the sticky backing, if I can get it. Come on. There we go. So now the whole piece is sticky. I'm just going to stick it to this piece of paper as near as I can. That was totally wonky, but never mind. That's nowhere near the edge. This corner got it, the rest didn't. Whoops! But it's okay. And then again, I'm going to trim off the extra paper that we don't need. Okay. So I'm going to fold these up so that I can crease the paper. Do the short ends as well. So that's going to be the length of my box, and yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of wiggle room. So if I push it right to one end, you can see I've got about 1/4 of an inch. So you could do it probably 5.5 and it would be perfect. Hey Azure, how are you doing, hon? Hope you're doing well. Okay, so I have burnished the paper that we stuck this to. I love you guys. 2 subscribers, so resubscription will be included. Okay, so yeah, you do count in the 7 pink. So then these squares that we cut off, I'm sticking back onto those squares of paper. And they don't need to fit exactly. So if there's a bit that's not quite stuck down, it's fine. If there's a bit that overhangs, it's fine. Because we're going to notch them and trim them down into tabs. So it's not a huge issue, but I'm going to stick these back. So at the moment, this is just paper. and I'm sticking that square of sticky that we took off on top of that paper. So now this paper is sticky, or it will be when I take the backing off. I love that you guys are so invested in this. This is brilliant. On the long edges, I'm going to cut that square of paper away so we can turn it into a tab. So just on the long edges, so that it can be cut into a tab, which we'll do in a second. So now these pieces are separate. Each of the little squares, I'm just going to tab them. So I'm going to cut a triangle off each side and then take the bottom bit off. What we're going to do is bend up the short pieces and stick those tabs inside of the long pieces. So I'm going to fold this in and stick it to the edge here. So now we've got a nice corner. Sorry, my kitten, I apologise. Same thing here. Just going to fold it up, line up the two corners and stick it down. And then I'm just going to burnish them down. So now we've got half the box made. You do have a pink diamond. Now I'm going to try and do the other side while zoomed in. I don't know if the kitten's going to let me, but I'm going to try it so you can see a bit better. Okay. So I'm going to take off the back of that tape so that our little tabs become sticky. And then all I'm going to do, bend them in a bit, fold this side up so that it meets the corner, and then push that tab down. Same here, move it out the way, line up the corner, and then stick it down. And that way you just get your corner lined up before you have stuck anything down. So now we've got the really overexposed, because the cat is there, inside of our box sorted. And then there's the outside with all the chipboard. We're going to do a bit of, I'm going to cut some strips to cover the outside. And my pieces are 3/4 of an inch. And you want to just add 1/2 inch onto each side. So I'm going to cut this at 1 3/4, because mine are 3/4. If you made it deeper, you'd need a bigger piece. So I'm going to cut these at 1 3/4. That's not the straight edge, okay. That's the straight edge, look at that. So I'm going to do a couple at 1 3/4. That should be enough. Between your work, chat and Magrat, all of my powers of observation are taken up. Oh, bless you. I'm just going to score all of these at 1/2 inch. And hopefully I won't have to use that piece, because I nearly ripped that by going too hard. I need to do it gently. There we go. Right, let me fold these. So this is another change to what I did yesterday. Yesterday I scored at 1/4 inch and that really wasn't enough. So today I've scored at 1/2 inch, which will hopefully make things a little bit easier. Okay, and this time I'm also going to swap the way that I do it. I'm putting that 1/2 inch on the bottom. So I'm going to seal off the bottom straight away and then fold over the top rather than doing it the other way around. So, yeah, that's long enough, that's fine. Start with roughly the middle, okay. So again, I'm going to put that 1/2 inch on the bottom, roughly in the middle. Doesn't need to be exact, but roughly in the middle. I've just realised I can zoom in a bit because the kitten left. Then you can see what I'm doing a bit better. There we go. So, oh yeah, only a tiny bit of glue on the outside, that's fine. Right. And then I'm going to trim alongside it, just that bottom flap. So just against the box. So now this piece is separate. Same on this side. So this piece is now separate. So now it's going to look pretty similar to how we did it on the box lid. I'm going to fold this round and glue underneath. So I'm going to put glue all along the, actually no I'm not, because I need a little bit at the top. So I've avoided the top 1/2 inch, but I've put glue along the rest. And I'm going to fold it over and stick it to this side first. Quickly burnish that down. And then I'm going to fold each side. Just fold it straight round. There you go. So now we've got it wrapped all the way around that side. And now I can stick these pieces on the bottom. Do I need to? No, I don't even need to tab them. That's good. So I can just glue that straight onto the bottom. And the same on this side. Okay. Just wipe down that glue that's stuck over. Okay. Going to do exactly the same on the other side. One. Okie dokie. Actually, I might use the third one. Will that piece cover? Yeah, it will. Look at that. I don't really need to do this, but I might just cover the bottom. just to give it a nice finished look. I'm just going to cover the bottom just with that off-cut piece that I didn't need to trim. There we go. So that will just cover that gap. The corner is either side of it to the top of the chipboard. I'm just going to cut down but I'm not cutting it off. Hey CLM! These are new gloves. These are definitely new gloves. Good spot. I'm out in a minute so you can see the cat. But in this corner, can you see I've cut down diagonally on each side, but I haven't cut it off. I've just cut down a piece like so, but I'm not cutting it off. Okay. So again, I've cut down either side, but I'm not cutting it off. It's still attached. And I'm only cutting down as far as the chipboard. Just occurred to me that that angled snip at the corner is what I used to do for my school book covers. Yes! Yep, very similar process for covering the chipboard. Oh man, I haven't thought about covering my school books in ages. Used to have that god-awful sticky back plastic that we used to have to cover our books in. The first 3 years of school, it was that awful sticky back plastic. And then when I got into year 10, they were like, you can cover it in whatever you like. Awesome. Wrapping paper. Done. For edge, I'm actually going to burnish it first. Just so that there we go, that's better. Then once you've done that, we're going to stick it down. So put the glue on, fold it in and burnish it. We're going to do exactly the same thing to the other short end, leaving those triangles pointing up. Okay, I'm going to try and not knock the camera. I'm going to zoom you in a tiny bit more to try and show you this bit, which is the most fiddly bit. So I'm just going to fold the sides out slightly, just so you can see. So in the corner, if I fold that over, there's a little bit of chipboard that you'll see. And all I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue in the middle. So where that paper touches the chipboard, right in the corner. And then all I'm going to do is bend it in so it sticks down. So it goes in diagonally and just covers that corner. So they're all stuck now. I'm going to give the glue a second because I want the glue to be really securely adhered before we do the next bit. If you used tape, then you wouldn't have to wait because the tape would have an instant cling. But because I used glue, I'm just going to give it a second. And then all we're going to do is basically rip this off. And now that is stuck on, covering that bit of chipboard. So I'm just pulling it towards the middle of the box, and that corner is stuck. So just pulling it in and down so that that edge piece sticks. And now those corners are covered, and we can stick down the long side. So if you were using tape, that bit would have gone a little bit quicker, but I prefer to use wet glue wherever I can, just because I feel a bit better about it. Not leaving the plastic backing as rubbish, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so I'm just going to dry fit this. So I am, same as I do with the albums, just going to burnish it first before any glue goes on it, so that I know it's going to fold into the right place. And I know I'm going to get a nice flat edge when it's folded. Yeah, I thought that trick for the corners was really smart. I saw someone do it. So the lady that I saw had this box with no measurements or anything. I saw her use it. I'm like, that's genius, because it just covers those corners without adding tons of bulk. I thought it was brilliant. And this is the nice thing about learning from other people. You get loads of tips. And then I'm just going to cover this with glue. Then push it over, wrap it round, and burnish it down. Do the other side. You can see this a bit better now because there's not the top one in the way. So I'm just going to cover everything in glue. Again, you could use tape. Tape would work just as well. You could have covered all the strips in tape before you attach them to the box. That would have worked too. And then I'm going to push it flat on the top, squeeze it over, and then I can burnish it down. So now we've got a completely white, you could use whatever colour you like, covered box, and we can add some pretty papers to it.
So originally I had decided to use some purple design paper, but one of my lovely community members recommended that we use some alcohol ink pieces that we'd made earlier, and I have this beautiful piece that was teal and purple and silver, and I know it looks dark green, but it is the most beautiful teal. So what we did was we cut some strips to stick on the inside. So I've just cut these strips at about just over ½ an inch, because our sides are 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just sticking those in, and then I've got a piece for the base. So the inside will then be covered with this beautiful solid colour, and I absolutely love this. It was the perfect suggestion, so much better than the design paper I had planned for this project. I absolutely love it. It looks like one of those sort of like abalone mother of pearl shells. It's absolutely stunning. It fits this project so perfectly. I love it. Then we tried to figure out how to wrap the outside, and I didn't have pieces big enough to do it. So I was thinking I could wrap it round an end and then add a piece on top and then wrap it round a bit. And then the lovely Mickey, with the bright ideas, suggested we do like a tiled terracotta tile piece and cut them into little squares to put around the edge. So that's what we did. So I figured out the height I wanted, again just over ½ an inch, and then I cut the same size pieces so we had some squares, and then we were able to stick those around the edge. And I have to say, I'm madly in love with this. Like, madly in love with this. It so far surpassed my expectations because of my community, and that's the thing that I'm really enjoying about Twitch at the moment, and why I would love you guys to come join us, is because we have these conversations live, and it can make such a difference when someone else sees it from a slightly different viewpoint than you, and you come up with such beautiful, beautiful ideas. So yeah, come join the fun. We also realised after a little bit of trial and error that it looked better on a black background. So I took one of my Tombow markers and I just coloured the whole outside black. This is why I said at the start I wish I'd used black card, but you know, you live and you learn. This wasn't the plan, so I adapted and it looks beautiful. So once we had got it fully covered and it was dry, I lined up the pieces. I alternated the purpley ones and the teal ones just to give a bit of a nice interest. I dry fit them on to make sure that we would get enough to fit on each side, and then I glued them down. And I mean, as I said, I am madly in love with this project. It is awesome. Okay, there are 2 more protective measures and then we're done. The first one is to coat the entire thing in a layer of clear gesso. You don't have to do this, I've just done it to preserve it, to ensure that this piece lasts a bit longer and that everything stays together and is protected from any elements it might come into contact with. The second protective element is to cut some acetate down to fit in the base of the box. This will just protect the base from any ink that is left on your blending tool or your brush or anything like that, and it will just protect the base of the box from picking up any of that colour. You don't need to do both of these, I just did to be sure. I don't know whether I should stick it down. I think if I stick it down I risk ruining it, whereas if I leave it loose I can take it out but it's still protected. The sides aren't protected from like the ink dauber, but hopefully, because they've got enough room to move, it won't be a huge issue. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The only thing I wish it was ever so slightly thinner. Like maybe a 1/4 inch thinner. But it is still beautiful. And thinking about it actually, will these fit in? Oh, look! The other inks that I would use to ink my edges fit in as well. So it's a good thing I made it that size. That's good. These won't fit in. But they are huge. Will they fit in? They'll fit in as well. Yeah, I think that's worked very well. I'm so happy with that. And there's cat fur on top of the acetate, so that's fine. So yeah, it's just got a bit of clear acetate in the bottom to protect it from ink. I love it. I still can't quite believe how different the colour is on camera, because it's really not showing how beautiful that teal is. Yeah. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right. I'm going to stop staring into the thing that I've just made. I'm going to leave it on my desk actually so you can see it.
Okay, so that is me making my ink storage pot over on Twitch. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you ever want to see me do stuff live on Twitch, then please feel free to join us. I'll put the link in the description. By the time you finish this video, I'll actually be live if you've watched it on the release date. I go live at 8 PM on every Wednesday, Friday and Saturday over at Twitch. Just click on the link in the description. You can come join us there. You can be part of the chat. You can see how we interact, the fun that we have. You can take part in giving me advice in the project, things like that, and it would be great to see you all there. For those of you who don't know, Twitch is very similar to YouTube, just that it's the majority of it is live videos rather than pre-recorded videos. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you feel this video has been. Did you like this format? Did you not? Was it difficult to follow? Was it easy to follow? Let me know all your feedback down below, because that's what I'm after at the moment. This is just a little bit of experimentation to see what works best for you guys and for me. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful week. Keep crafting and I'll see you all soon. Bye!